What is going on, everybody? We are back with another review. This is CCW, and I'm Nick.
And I'm Joe.
And we're talking about AEW Dynamite for October 1st.
2.5 hour long show.
Yes, 6-year
Special
anniversary.
6-year anniversary. Yeah. Jinx.
Yeah, so we're in Hollywood, but not in any normal Hollywood. We're in Hollywood, Florida. And we have Taz, Bryan Danielson, and Excalibur on commentary. The best commentary team in wrestling right now.
The sad part is they have many guests tonight.
Yeah, they do. Well, 2 guests specifically.
Well, for like 80% of the matches has a guest. Mostly because the Callis family is just...
Right.
They may as well be their own brand of AEW.
Right. So, we start off with the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander versus Kenny Omega and Brodito. But before that, earlier today, the Bucks are excited to get their grand entrance. Matt is talking about all the things that he wants to do. And then he goes to talk to the sound designer. He knew it was going to cost money, but they were also around some casinos. And Nick went and gambled away all the money.
Yeah, he's got a problem. Got a problem.
And we start with the Bucks just in the ring because they don't get an entrance, and they're called the Broke Bucks. And their little tag, their little tag above that usually has like a little stat written in says they have 0.00 in their bank account. Fantastic times.
Nice.
Match 1. The Young Bucks and Josh Alexander versus Kenny Omega and Brodito. So the Bucks don't get an entrance. The Broke Bucks already said that. I said LMAO. We're back, boys. Kenny almost took a firework to the chest during his entrance. They tried.
Yeah, they were hanging awful low, weren't they? With the ones that were crossing him.
Yeah, they were. I was like, oh, Kenny's gonna have himself an Undertaker moment. Which I don't know what's worse, an Undertaker moment or a Jeff Hardy moment.
Well, the Jeff Hardy moment was planned. That was
Taker's
part
was
of the
not.
storyline. No, Taker legit got set on fire. And then had to wrestle a match.
Yeah, he did. Well, he didn't have to, but he chose to. Difference.
Wow.
He could have went.
It was a big show.
He could have said,
"You're not going to go to the back."
He could have said, "Screw that." Anyways, so Don Callis is on commentary. Brody hits a senton early on both Jacksons. At the same time because he laid them on top of each other. See, there it makes sense because they can't pen their own team. Just wanted to point that out. Brodito gets Kenny Omega to do the Macarena, which made me laugh. Or Bandito gets Kenny Omega to do the Macarena.
Yeah, they tried to get Brody to do it, but Brody was not having it.
Brody's still throwing up the X, and this comes back to bite him in the ass here soon. So, Brody King goes to do he does a series of body slams of people on top of Josh Alexander. I didn't see who all it was, but I want to say I think he did it to Kenny.
Yeah, he scoop slammed Kenny on top of him.
And then I think one of
his partners. Then he body slammed Kenny on top of him.
Right. And so then he goes to do Bandito, and Bandito reverses it, and Brody turns around and looks confused, and then Bandito throws up the X like Bandito or like dude did earlier. And then he picks him up and body slams his big ass
he scoop slammed
on top of Josh Alexander.
On top of Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander.
I loved this whole segment. That was amazing. Really well done. Kenny goes to dive on Alexander, catches a super kick from both Bucks. The Hills go up on top as we go to commercial break. Kenny gets the hot tag into Brody King back from break. Alexander catches Bandito and power slams him on the apron, which looked like it hurt.
Yep.
Kenny dives over and takes out the Bucks and Alexander. And then went after Callis, who ran away. Kenny came right back. Callis didn't come right back, but he eventually came back, unfortunately. Bandito goes for the 21 plex on Nick, but Nick weasels out of it. The faces all end up in the ring together and hit tombstones on all the heels, which was fun.
Yep.
Alexander hits 3 Germans on Kenny. Continuous Germans. He didn't let go. I don't know what you call that.
It's just kind of what Kurt Angle used to do.
Right,
the,
right.
The trio of Germans.
And then he ends up hitting one on Bandito, and then hits one on King, but it took the Bucks doing a super kick to get him over.
Yeah, that was a fun spot.
We get a cool tag team flapjack with a super kick mixed in with it that I thought was fun. And then Kenny kicks out of that, but gets put into an ankle lock. Kenny comes back, hits Snapdragons on the Bucks, hits a Poison Rana on Alexander, then a power bomb into a V-trigger. Bandito hits a 21 plex as Brody dove out to the guys outside. This part got a little sloppy because Kenny got in Bandito's way, which is what started it, and it kind of threw everyone off because he was in the way. But they bounce back. Kenny ends up hitting the one-winged angel on Alexander and gets the pin. And I said, one finisher, match over. Made me happy.
Yeah, there wasn't, 6 near falls at 2.999.
Post-match, Alexander attacks Kenny, and the Bucks try to tell him to stop. It almost looks like they're going to try and get the Bucks and Kenny back together. Jurassic Express come out. And thankfully, I have already heard of interviews and stuff where Perry's already said he's not going back to being Jungle Boy. They'll use the old theme song because the fans love it, but he's straight up just going to be Jack Perry, which is what I was hoping for because I definitely didn't need that old shit happening again.
You don't want him riding out on the shoulders of the dinosaur?
No, it's stupid.
Bring back Marco Stunt?
Definitely no. Please don't. A boy with his dinosaur and action figure is not what I need in a trio.
But he can floss. He's talented.
I don't care. He can floss at home. So Jurassic Express come out. Josh Alexander is still laying into Kenny in the corner. And Luchasaurus and Perry take out the Bucks. Jack and Kenny kind of start to get into a little shoving match and arguing, and then Jack pushes him out the way and then dives out at the Bucks outside. And they disappear. Kenny grabs a mic, says for 6 years, they've been through it all. He thanks the fans. He says, we've made friends. We've even lost a couple, but he couldn't do it without them. And then he does his signature exit.
Goodbye, and good night, bang.
And all of a sudden the lights go out. And this is the biggest moment of the night for me because I was not expecting this.
I was expecting it, just not this soon.
I expected for 90 days. I expected... Okay, we'll just get into it. Lights go out. Somebody shows up in the ring. Funny enough, I thought it was Jericho. When the lights came on, I didn't recognize that it was Andrade's mask, and I panicked. Because I was like, no, leave Jericho at home. It's been great with that, and thankfully it wasn't Jericho. It was Andrade.
We got no Jericho at all.
I popped almost as big as I did when Jericho showed up on Raw.
I'm happy for Andrade. I'm hoping that he can get his shit together now that he doesn't have a
wife,
an unhappy marriage, an eventual divorce, and all that stuff. I'm hoping that a lot of his frustrations he had when he was with AEW and some of the backstage heat he got into was due to some personal stuff. Not that that's an excuse, but
I will say, and real quick, just to run down the rest of what happens. And then I'll go into more detail on things. Andrade shows up behind him, takes off his mask, takes Kenny Omega out, and then shakes Don Callis' hand. He's apparently a member of the Don Callis family. Now, one of the things I found super interesting, they use Andrade in the exact same post-match segment as Jack Perry. For those of you that know, you know. For those of you that don't. He punched Jack Perry in the face back. No, it was Sammy, wasn't it? It was Sammy he punched.
It was
Wrong
Sammy
guy.
Guevara.
Look, little people, whatever.
Punk and Perry were the ones that
No,
got
no.
into it.
I knew Punk and Perry got into it, but I thought Perry got into it with 2 people. Apparently, I was wrong. It was Sammy, and I remembered that last second. So never mind.
Yep.
That didn't matter. The thing I did think was stupid. I do not like, and I said this though. I said if Andrade comes back, he's gonna fuck around and join the Don Callis family. Now, I wish he would have went to.
He can't go back to LFI because Guevara's with LFI.
True. But this is where Tony Khan could have stepped in as the boss and said, "Y'all are gonna have to fix your shit. You're gonna be together. You're gonna like it."
Yeah, you're gonna be a tag team, no less. Although, but he's already Sammy's already tagging with. Is it Roosh that he's tagging with, or is it Drilistico?
Both. They're the ROH Trios champions, I believe. Or no, I think he's tag team champions with Roosh. That's what it is. ROH tag champs with Roosh. Now, I will say, as you'll find out when Joe's done with the next match, I was 100% right on where El Clone was going to end up. I called that shit. That was fun.
Yeah, that was a terrible segment, but we'll get there.
We get a quick little backstage segment. I'll let you take over the backstage segment.
Okay. Well, before the backstage segment, we had a 6-year Dynamite video package that kind of summarized some of the many things that have happened over the last 6 years.
I went for a bathroom break during that, so I didn't even write it down.
Yeah. We had some Cody in there. We had some Brody Lee. We had even some Punk dressed in Sting attire when Sting, Darby, and Punk had the 6-man tag. That was the only mention or scene of Punk at all, which is not surprising. Just a couple flashes of Cody as well. They didn't really zero in on those guys. After that, we got the Briscoe backstage segment. Still talking about MJF. Pretty much said he warned MJF, "You put my brother's name. Told you not to have my brother's name come out your mouth. You got what you got. Hope you enjoy your sabbatical." He talks about being screwed out of the TNT title chance, but he's not bitter. He said he's going to celebrate when OC wins the title tonight because he can be happy for his friends. Yeah, that was pretty much the gist of that. And that led into the Orange Cassidy versus Kyle Fletcher match.
So, before we get too far into this, OC's entrance. I was confused. I was confused last week because last week there were some missing pictures in the Titantron, and I was like, "Oh man, somebody screwed up and didn't put the actual things in." And now I'm realizing
it's on purpose.
It's on purpose. Which I enjoy because it leads into the still being of like whatever. He just doesn't care. I hope it doesn't last too long though. I think it's fun for him coming back, but I hope they eventually stick something in there.
Yeah, I don't like it. His things are so low effort anyways that having all that text is just eh. But yeah, one of the little tweets that they populate on the show as the night goes along said that OC must have forgot to pay for his Adobe subscription or something. But yeah. Orange Cassidy versus Mr. Fletcher. So this was a lot of Fletcher kind of just playing with Cassidy, playing with OC at the beginning of the match. OC kept going for his hands in the pocket spot. Fletcher kept stopping. There's a lot of back and forth with that. OC did get a brief little comeback. He did his little kick spot, hit a dive. So this match, for some reason, was just not vibing with me. I don't know. I just didn't find their chemistry to be all that great. Not that the match was bad or anything. Just, I feel like not a lot happened until the finish, and I loved the finish.
Is that not every Orange Cassidy match, not a lot happens.
Well, he's usually diving, and there was a cool spot where he oh, where is it? He reversed the brainbuster that he went that Fletcher went to hit into a stun dog. Um, that started his little hope spot and stuff. Cassidy didn't. This was not as 50-50 booked as I thought it was going to be. Fletcher looked pretty strong here.
One of the moments that I loved was there's a point midway through the match where Fletcher said screw it and forced Orange's hands into his own pockets.
Yeah.
Because everyone always like pushes to make sure that doesn't happen, because that's when he turns into,
Well, that's when he does his little Hulk up moment.
Yeah. And this was Fletcher being like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, and he did Hulk up. He hit his little
Arm
spot
drag.
there.
He hit his arm drag,
Yeah.
and that was it.
But essentially, right when Cassidy was starting to get kind of a little bit of the upper hand, out comes Hologram, or who you perceive to be Hologram.
Oh, no, I could tell immediately it wasn't Hologram.
I did too, because he was wearing all that black and all the sleeves and stuff, and I'm like, this isn't really Hologram. But
Kyle O'Reilly didn't know that.
yeah, they wanted people to think it was Hologram, even though it was plainly obvious that it wasn't.
I'm
I'm
going to be honest with you. So we'll go ahead and finish the point of how this happens. We'll get into that in a moment.
So, needless to say, guy dressed as Hologram comes to the ring, essentially ends up costing OC the match, kind of racks him on the top rope. Fletcher takes advantage, brainbusters him onto the top turnbuckle, gets the pin with that. The Hologram guy then comes in, starts helping beat down OC post-match. The conglomeration comes out for the save, and the heels bail. And then you got what is going to be our thumbnail, the shot of the very large group of Don Callis people on the ramp.
And they're only missing like one person in the family because he's still out injured.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see Lance Archer. I didn't see...
Lance Archer's right behind Kyle in that picture I sent you. Right behind him. You see the side of his face poking out from behind his arm.
I see him now. Oh, yeah, I didn't see him or the tiny dude behind him. What's his name?
The only person actually missing at this point is Brian Cage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's been out too.
Yeah.
You're right. There's Hechicero over there.
It's a big family. It's a big family.
It's way too many damn people in one group.
So I did some research. El Clone is being portrayed by a wrestler named Arez, who has the moniker of King of Strange Style. So I'm interested to see what
that even means.
Wrestling is going to be like. But apparently, at one point, Hologram was wrestling wherever El Clone was as Aramis. And they have both been a tag team at one point, but became longtime rivals. Over wherever
they should have good chemistry
from.
then. So hopefully they'll have a halfway decent match.
Now,
I don't like the reveal. The reveal had this weird music and lighting, and there was audio issues with the show tonight anyways.
Yep.
So it was I'll just be honest, it was bad. It was badly orchestrated.
I feel like the crazy lighting, if they were going to do it, it should have happened during the actual beatdown in the ring before he took his mask off. I feel like them doing it after he revealed everything on the stage was dumb. Because at that point, you're presenting the family as the family. There's no reason to do the glitching at that point. You're there.
I agree.
Now,
I agree.
I blame Tony more for this than I blame El Clone for one reason specifically.
Oh yeah, it's totally the booker and the producer of the show. It's not the wrestler's fault.
In this specific scenario, though, I would not have had Clone come out wearing a hologram mask. He's already wearing his own masks. You're asking this man to look through two masks. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever wore those skin suits that cover your face. You can see out of them, but it's not great. And that's the exact same things that they're dealing with. And now you're asking for him to look through two of them. Because there were a couple times when he was on that apron, he looked confused. I would have been too, because I wouldn't have been able to see shit.
Yeah, it was a poorly orchestrated segment.
But I am excited to see the two of them wrestle. The good news is El Clone isn't somebody that hasn't never shown their face before. They have, so we're not. It's never going to have to worry about like being super protective about their masks like most luchadors are. I'm pretty sure both of them have already wrestled with no mask on.
Well, the thing I hate is no one knows what this clone is or who this clone is, but as soon as he reveals who he is, Excalibur's got the entire fucking backstory of him already.
No, I Googled.
Well, no, you Googled, but Excalibur on commentary mentioned who he was, what his ring name was, and everything.
Oh, when he was like, it's El Clone.
No, he didn't call him El Clone. He called him by something specific.
Oh. But yeah, so backstage segment. Monet is celebrating being a longtime TBS champ and is going to face someone local next week for Title Tuesday. She's also looking for a tag partner for the tag champs, and Harley shows up with Puppet Monet, and immediately I'm like, I want them to be tag champions.
It'd be her 10th belt too.
It'd be her 10th and 11th if she does it right. Listen. If she claims this is where they could go with the story. She wins.
They're gonna give the puppet a belt too.
No. She wins the tag titles, and she claims they're both hers. So now she's finally passed up Ultimo Dragon, who only had 10 belts.
I don't want that to be the case.
Now, obviously, it wouldn't be true. She technically would only have 10. But
no, but you could see them doing that.
But Monet being Monet. That would be
character.
That would be the character thing for her to do. Actually, what I think will end up happening is they'll be in a tournament and they will lose in the finals. Is what I think will happen, and it will be Harley that eats the pin if it's her and Harley. But yeah, so Harley shows up with Puppet Monet, and Monet was not happy. She was like, "Get away from me." Dude, they have such good comedy chemistry together. I love when they're together on screen because Monet can't stand her, and she adores Monet. So it's great times. Next match, and dude, there was some psychology in this match that was missed by apparently so many people.
I missed it while it was happening. You're talking about the tag, I presume?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't. I missed it until the end, and then so I kind of saw it. I saw when he got tagged in, but it didn't click right away. But I did look at parts of the match, and I'm like, damn, Joe's just standing on the apron, not like participating, not anything, and it kind of made sense after the fact.
Yeah. So Sean Ross Sapp didn't mention it. And I feel like it's a very important reason as to why the end happened.
Well, especially since that's what both their backstage segments were about.
Right. So, yeah, John Moxley Garcia and Claudio versus Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Hangman Adam Page. We start with Joe and Claudio. Joe is angry. He tried to choke Claudio, and it took Hobbs to pull him off for a second. So he's already mad, right? He goes into this match, and he's already pissed off because of what the story is what they did to Shibata. His anger gets the best of him. He starts to get jumped. He finally tags Hangman in, and Hangman takes over. He dives over the top to Garcia outside the ring. In the ring, Garcia tries to come back, but gets booted, and then Hangman tags in Hobbs. Hobbs takes out Claudio and Mox. Garcia tries to fight Hobbs, but gets manhandled. Dude, if there's anybody that has benefited the most from all of this team-up stuff, it's been Hobbs. Hobbs has looked so good with them.
Yeah.
I hope he eventually ends up with the singles title somewhere.
They did this with Hobbs when he was part of Team Taz, when he kind of got hot and over the first time he got over.
I wasn't there for that.
Nowhere. Yeah, I know. That's well, you would have hated it anyways because that was your buddy Ricky Saint's
Oh,
group.
also, before we continue with this, the other thing that I didn't like about the family, and what I don't like about the Don Callis family, is not even that there's like a billion people in it, or the most. My problem right now is they've got Kyle Fletcher at the forefront, and Okada's the one that has what's supposed to be 2A or 1A, 1B world championship, and he's always in the background.
Yep.
Like, if that's supposed to be the other big champion beside the World Heavyweight Championship, he should be the one that's in the forefront of the group. And I just find that whole dynamic weird.
I don't get it either. They're pushing Kyle really strongly is the only thing I can think of, and it's not that Kyle's over, but they know Okada's over is the only thing I can think they're thinking. That they're still really, really trying to get Kyle like majorly over.
Right. There's a way to do that. Have him
book him to keep winning, like he is.
Have Fletcher beat Okada.
Tak's gonna beat Okada.
Oh, I know, but Tak is also going to leave the family to do that.
Well, yeah.
At that point,
it's gonna start next week.
When
they get their.
At that point, when
we'll talk about it.
At that point, when that does happen, then Kyle can be in the forefront because he'll be the only one with the title.
Yeah.
Anyways, where was I? Garcia tries to fight Hobbs. He gets manhandled. Hobbs then power slams Mox 3 times on the apron and then tosses him to the floor to go to the commercial break. Back from break, Hobbs is being cut off from his team. So something happened.
They're getting heat on Hobbs.
Hobbs power slams Claudio and finally tags in Paige. Paige clears them out and gets a DVD on. This is, by the way, this is where the tag happened. So Hobbs goes to tag in
Joe.
Paige or Joe. I think he's just going to tag somebody, right? But regardless, Paige had just been hit in the face by Claudio and knocked off the apron. So Paige is pissed off. So he jumps up. He takes the tag. Whether it was for Joe, whether it was for him, it doesn't matter. He takes the tag and he gets in. But him and Joe start to get in at the same time. But the ref is telling Joe, hey, he got the tag. Stay on the outside. So then Joe's just sitting there like, the fuck? Yep. Adam Page comes in, does his thing. And then Page clears everybody out, gets a DVD on Garcia. Pretty clean DVD. Page goes for a Deadeye, but Garcia gets out and tags in Mox. Mox and Claudio get a nice little double team maneuver where Mox does a pile driver and Claudio hits a running uppercut. Page, however, ends up hitting the Deadeye and then a buckshot lariat on Claudio, and they get the win. There was a whole segment there where everybody was coming in clotheslining somebody type thing. I said there's some miscommunication between Joe and Paige. At the end of the match, Paige went to go take the tag titles. He handed one to
Hobbs.
I was about to call him Books. I don't know why I was going to call him Books, but that was going to be his name. He hands it to Hobbs, and then he goes to hand one to Joe. And
Joe throws it down.
Instead, he doesn't even hand it to Joe, though. He shoves it in Joe's chest and lets go, and it just falls to the ground. And Joe looks at him like he's fucking crazy, which, to be fair, I would have too.
Yeah, my note for this is a weird way to set up a babyface versus babyface feud.
They start arguing. Security immediately comes out, which I think they should have waited on the security running in thing. Because that alone made it like, listen, we all know wrestling's predetermined.
Well, Joe's just yelling at him. You ain't never beat me.
But
you ain't never beat me.
You're supposed to wait until punches are thrown to send out security. I'm just saying.
There should have at least been some Hobbs trying to hold people back and trying to get the piece.
Right.
And then maybe he like waves for security to come down to help.
Maybe he catches a stray from somebody. Who knows? You know?
Right. Anything.
But yeah, they start arguing while the security are holding them back. And it turns into a quick little brawl where they kind of take some swings at each other. And yeah. So I don't think it's bad if you look at the whole event overall, but I think so many people missed what led up to it. And what it is, it's the ego of two major stars, right?
Sure.
Because you've got Joe. It's ego and anger all built into one. Because you've got Joe, who thinks he's the baddest man on the planet, character-wise. In real life, he actually doesn't think he's all that great.
He's crazy. He's great.
But character-wise, he thinks he's the best in the world, as you should if you're a wrestler. And he's mad because one of his teammates got jumped by the Death Riders. I about called them the Rough Riders. Dude, it's gonna be a rough night. So he wants his revenge, and then at the same time, Adam Page has this history with the Death Riders now, and he gets hit and wants to come in and get his own quick revenge. Doesn't realize that he kind of oversteps and hoses Joe in the process. And then it turns into an issue between the two. I think it's smart. My problem is it also feels rushed.
Hey man, WrestleDream ain't gonna book itself.
It's true. It's true. But backstage, Page says he holds the title because of Joe, and if he wants a title shot, fine. WrestleDream, one-on-one. He says he looks up to Joe, he respects Joe, but if he throws another bitch fit like that, Page will ruin his life. I was like, that was fantastic. Now, the other thing that also kind of drives me, or what was I going to say about this? One of the things Sean and that other guy that I mentioned earlier, I can't remember what his name is now. Sean and
Kapowski.
Alex.
Alex Kapowski.
Pulowski.
Thank you. Wow. Butchered his name anyways.
One of them actually mentioned it would be interesting if this was Joe's plan. Get Page riled up. Tell him that he's not better than him to get a title shot. Which I think Joe would be smart enough to do as a...
And he knows Hangman's a hothead.
Right. But also, I just don't think Tony is smart enough. Smart enough for that to be what happened.
The booking of these shows used to be so much better.
But yeah, no, I didn't dislike the moments. I just, it's understandable unless you miss something, which a lot of people did miss something, and I understand that because it happened so quick.
Sure.
But it still does feel a little rushed.
Yeah, because they've only got 2 weeks to put a card together.
Yep. You want to take the Tony Storm and Ty Mello? Hold on.
Sure.
What's the match after that? Oh no, you got the match after that. I'll take this one. You can take the last two.
Are you going to talk about the Jet Speed and Willow promo?
I didn't even know there was one. I'm not going to lie to you.
So yeah, man, you were out of it.
How did I miss that?
I don't know. It took place right after the Hangman and them match. It was before the Hangman Renee segment.
Oh, yeah, I definitely missed that. I don't know how I missed it.
Yeah, Willow's out there talking with Jet Speed. Essentially, Kevin Knight of Jet Speed challenges any member of FTR. Willow says she's going to be in their corner to combat Stoke. Stoke and FTR said they accept, but they're not going to tell Knight which member of FTR he's going to face until they come through the curtain. So we get a collision match of Kevin Knight versus one of the members of FTR with Willow in Jet Speed's corner and, of course, Stoke with FTR.
Right.
They had a lot of segments setting up collision matches in this show.
Yeah, they did. Match 4 is Tony Storm versus Ty Mello. Tony takes the start of the match. Ty comes back and is up by the break. There just wasn't much that happened in that time, though, so I don't have, detailed notes. But back from break, they do the running and slam each other's face down spot that seems to happen in every women's match ever.
Yeah, it was a double down. The only thing you really missed before that is Tony tried a chicken wing that Ty backed her into the corner to get out of, really.
Right.
Tony gave a lot during this match.
I actually thought she was going to lose because I thought her downward spiral thing was going to get her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they would have been smart to do that because
well, I mean, not if you're going into the match they're going into at the pay-per-view.
Well, I know.
Now maybe if she loses that's when that really starts to go, but you still got to keep her strong for at least the pay-per-view.
After DDT, Tony goes for a hip attack and misses. Ty goes for the Ty KO. Stupid name. But Storm reverses it into a German. She hits a corner hip attack and then Storm Zero and gets the win. My exact note was, I have a hard time getting into Ty Mello matches, even if Tony's involved.
Yeah, her wrestling style is weird because she really does have like a background in jiu-jitsu and stuff. So they like try to shoehorn some of that in, and it's awkward.
Yes, it is.
She's just not a great worker.
No. Or talker. Post match, Tony grabs a mic. She said it all out. She heard no victory, no defeat, just silence. She stared at Chris because she was everything Tony wasn't. A glorious champion. Without a title, who the hell is Tony? She says she's not finished with Chris. She wants a one-on-one match. Chris named the place and time, and she will be. And that's all she said. She didn't say there. She just said, I will be. And then she dropped the mic.
Yeah, the crowd kind of ruined the promo for me. They kept doing the what thing.
And then the lights went out on Tony, which I think is a signal that this might be the end of this timeless run.
Oh, man. I don't want it to end. Because what does she do? Go back to being punker Tony Storm?
Here's the thing.
That sounds terrible.
Here's the thing. At this point, I have nothing but faith in whatever Tony decides to do. Because she's the one that came up with that character and she ran with it. If she feels that this character is done and it's time to move on to another one, I'm all about it. As long as
I need Luther to come back.
As long as she knows what she's doing. Which, like I said, I've nothing but faith in what she's doing because she's done great so far. And then we get a random video package talking about Eddie versus Dralistico at Collision. You want to talk about the next segment? Match? Honestly,
what now?
You got the rest of the show at this point.
Ew, that is awful. But I can do that. LFI, Eddie Kingston package. It was a lot of... oh, God, why can't I think of his name? Sammy Guevara. Thank you. The guy that Andrade punched in the face. With his old stable mates, talking about an Eddie Kingston match. Eddie Kingston's like, yeah, okay, I'll be there. It was really a nothing segment. Then we got Samoa Joe backstage with Renee. He's reminding everybody that he's Samoa Joe, which...
I don't think he's reminding everybody, he's reminding himself.
And Hangman's never beaten him. He accepts the match, and Tony Khan eventually says that, yeah, we get Samoa Joe versus Hangman at WrestleDream. I'm all for this. I hope it's good, but it should be, given who these two are.
Oh, these two are going to put on a hell of a match. I want a Buckshot Lariat Nope spot.
Right?
It has not happened yet, at least to my knowledge. And I think it would be amazing for him to go for the Buckshot Lariat and he just move out the fucking way.
Here comes my dog to wreck the day.
Anyways.
Hi, buddy. Did you wake your mom up to let you out? All right, you're going to have to sit down and be good. After that, we got Nick's favorite tag team, Goa, or the Demand. What are they called? Is it the Demand?
No, they're Goa.
But the group is the Demand.
Yeah, the Demand.
Okay. Versus the Swirl, which is Lee Johnson and What the fuck is his name? Blake Christian. God, I couldn't remember his name either.
Listen, I'm having a hard time with everyone's name. You're good.
To open the match, Lee Johnson got slapped in the chest, and I thought his chest caved in. It was so loud. Then they hit a gut buster on Blake Christian. Lee Johnson kind of got a dive in for kind of a hope spot. This was pretty much all Goa. Goa hits the double. It looked more like a double spine buster than their weird move that you hate.
I don't care. It's similar enough.
It's similar enough, and they did it. Post-match, Ricochet hits the Spirit Gun on Blake Christian. Hurt Syndicate comes out. MVP says he's embarrassed. We hurt people. He's embarrassed. Maybe he's not the wrestler he thought he was. You didn't beat the almighty Bobby Lashley. You didn't beat Shelton Benjamin. He's like, but there is one thing I can still do, and I can still do it better than the three of you, and that's fight. So the Hurt Syndicate challenged him to a street fight for next week. Ricochet got on the mic accepting the match, so we get that for next Tuesday. Title Tuesday next week. Hurt Syndicate versus The Demand. Yeah, should be good. I'd imagine so anyways.
Right.
This leads to a stat with Renee backstage. Stat says she's a fighting champion, accepts Tony's challenge for WrestleDream. So we got that match booked. They're booking this thing in a hurry.
We've never fought one-on-one in 6 years.
Yeah, well, that's because Tony wasn't there day one, and Stat's been out with 2 very serious knee injuries. But they're not going to say that on TV. This leads to an Okada and talk with Don Callis segment. My one note is this group is way too damn big. Essentially, Don Callis is tired of Brodito and challenges them to a tag team match with Tak and Okada tagging together. Tak's like, I'm tagging with him? And Okada's like, yeah. Like, yeah, you're tagging with me, buddy. So Descent from the very jump. Tak's not very thrilled. Don Callis is trying to hold it together. They're still setting up this split. I just wish it would happen already.
They're going to implode so hard. It's going to be great.
Hi, buddy. What you doing? Yeah, you're a good dog. Okay. Dog's being... Okay.
No.
I think he has to go potty. All right. Now that we don't have a crying dog begging to go outside.
Sorry.
He's a good dog, though. So Don Callis' family is challenging Brodito and them. Tak and Okada's tagging. Tak's not thrilled. Okada's not thrilled that Tak's not thrilled. Don Callis trying to keep them together. This leads to the main event. Darby Allin and Chris Statlander versus Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir. The babyfaces jumpstart the match out into the crowd. Tornado tag match, so they can just constantly beat up on each other. And apparently it was no DQ because weapons and stuff. And I didn't know it was no DQ, but I don't know if that's just like a tornado rule thing or if they established that beforehand, but
I'm pretty sure it's a tornado rule thing.
Okay. I'll allow it.
Because the tornado tag match on Raw was also no DQ.
Oh, nice. They're fighting in the crowd. It's kind of going back and forth. Eventually, Stat gets on one of the higher level of the stands and dives onto both Yuta and Marina out in the crowd. They work their way back towards the ring. Darby gets a chair, takes some chair shots. Yuta in the back a couple times. Sets Darby up sitting in the table to do a dive. Yuta moves out of the way, and Darby just eats this chair. It was a wicked bump. It's your typical Darby Allin stuff.
So
Go ahead.
there's the part where I just wanted to point this out because of how dumb it was. Marina was giving chops to Stat
That one sitting her on the table.
up against the table, and then she licked her hand and then kicked her, and I was so confused.
Yeah, I saw that. I noticed that too. I was just like, okay, so apparently no more chops. I don't know if that was a swerve or what that was. But
I have no clue.
there was another weird spot. Now that you mention it, they're on the apron or something, and she does this weird head scissors spot that I think is supposed to be like a head scissors bomb or something. That just looks kind of weird. Marina's not the cleanest of workers, unfortunately. Wheeler Yuta hits a German suplex on some chairs on Darby. Marina and Stat are outside. They're wrestling. They're standing on the barricade, and Stat suplexes Shafir off the barricade through the timekeeper's table.
She didn't. I was gonna say she didn't do it through anything. I'm pretty sure they went straight to the floor, and it was all Stat that went through the table and the chair.
Well, no, Marina's ass went through the chair. But you're right. Stat was it was supposed to be both of them through the table, but Stat went through the table, and Marina crushed that chair. So Marina's probably hurt way worse, but
especially from later.
Right. Where did I go? Darby hits a superplex on Yuta into a stack of chairs in the ring. Wheeler hits a neck breaker, hanging Darby off the top rope onto the apron. That was pretty sick looking. Mm-hmm. Wheeler then gets in the ring and does almost like an angle slam to Chris Statlander.
Onto the chair. Well, almost onto the chairs. I thought she was going onto him, and I was like, "Aw, shit!"
No. This led to. Oh no, not yet. Stat then eventually gets up and hits a suplex onto Yuta and onto the chairs. So there was some guy on girl fighting, which I always appreciate. Mm-hmm. Yuta gets some tacks out and sprinkles them into the corner. And I'm pretty sure this is the spot you said that I would like in this match.
It was.
So Marina Shafir doesn't wear any shoes. Hopefully this is the cue that she will start wearing some shoes. Because Stat picks her up and drops her feet first into all those tacks. And she caught a ton of them in her foot.
Yeah, she did.
Her feet. She had them all over the place. Which I thought was hilarious. I literally put, drops Marina feet first into tacks. Wear boots, you idiot. Marina has, I think she has Darby in the corner, kind of by the neck, and Wheeler's about to throw powder into Darby's eyes.
Yep.
Darby moves, and he throws the powder into Marina's eyes. Then Marina can't see. Darby pushes Yuta into the corner. Marina thinks it's still Darby and puts him in a submission and is choking him out.
Pretty sure it's a chicken wing.
It's some sort of submission lock thing. This leads to them both getting knocked down because she pulls him to the ground. Stat then hits a 450 splash, followed by a coffin drop by Darby for the win. Post-match, Stat is leaving, and her and Toni Storm get a nice face-off with security surrounding them. They kind of both smile at each other, and then they start throwing hands. They fight off into the back.
Our new dust cloud for the next couple of weeks. Let's go.
Right? fight off stage. Um, Pac comes out and attacks Darby.
Who was in the process of wearing out Yuta's back with that belt, boy.
Yeah, because Darby was still beating up Yuta in the ring. Pac comes out, puts a stop to that. The rest of the Death Riders come out. He wraps was it Darby's belt that he wrapped around his neck and was choking him out with it?
Uh-huh.
So he's choking out Darby. Mox gets a microphone, says he doesn't know how he's going to do it, but this Sunday at the pay-per-view, he's going to make Darby utter the words "I quit," which I can't see Darby saying.
Darby will pass out before he quits.
I don't know where this goes.
Darby will either pass out before he quits, or they're going to do the whole recorded voice thing like with Mankind. And Darby will lose.
I don't like either of those things. I would rather just Mox quit.
I think here's the thing.
In this damn feud.
I think Mox is going to quit. I think this is the blow-off match where they finally put Darby over, because that's what all of this has been leading to. That's what all of this has been leading to. Now, I don't think this is as necessary as Hangman needing to win the world title when he did, because I think that was a way more necessary moment. But I do think it would be dumb on AEW's part to have Darby lose.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Regardless of what happens, none of us... well, okay, I can't speak for everybody. I will never see Darby as world champion material. I just won't. Not now. Not with everybody they've got there.
No. I don't want Darby as the world champion. He could be a TNT champion again.
Absolutely.
Hell, he could even be the whatever the fuck the Continental title's called now.
The Unified Championship.
He can even be that.
Yep.
But I don't want him to be world champion.
No. Oh, also Mox says Darby has zero chance for Darby to win. He added Mike. And then Pac hit a super nice clothesline on Darby. Looked painful. But no, so this, like we mentioned earlier, this is a very weird episode of Dynamite, because like there were a couple of really, really, really good moments, and then there were a couple of really mediocre to bad moments, and then everything just kind of existed on a even plane. Everything else did.
Yep.
I'm excited for a lot of the matches we're about to get at the pay-per-view. I do think I think Darby Mox headline the show, because they're gonna bleed a lot. It's gonna be brutal.
That's the type of match they do.
I actually think the World Championship match is going to open the show.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I think Joe and Paige are going to put on a hell of a match. They always do. I don't think they've ever had a bad match together. I do think Paige is going to win that, which we'll talk more about that when it comes time for,
Well, of course he is. They're not going to end. It took forever to get the strap off of Mox. They're not going to end Hangman's reign this abruptly, because honestly, as much as I would honestly rather see Joe as world champion, Hangman hasn't got a fair shake, and a babyface losing to a babyface is not how this is going to happen.
Right. I'm looking forward to... Oh, for those of you that don't know, Dynamite's on Tuesday next week.
Title Tuesday. They fucking up my Tuesdays now.
They're going to be going head-to-head with The Invasion over on NXT, or whatever they call it now.
It's still NXT.
Well, no, I mean The Invasion. I don't think it's called Invasion. I think it's called Showdown.
Yeah, I could care less. I don't watch NXT because that program is run by Shawn Michaels, who is not a great booker.
No. But yeah, so they're going to be going... Well, the reason I bring it up, though, they're going to be going head-to-head with basically TNA and NXT at the same time.
Yep.
I mean, I'm going to be watching AEW because I will never watch NXT. I will watch clips that pop up on Twitter if something looks interesting. Otherwise, I don't care. There's actually, I'm pretty sure at this point, there's only like 2 people on that, on that, well, okay, 2 people on NXT side that I even like at this point, and Blake Monroe's one of them, and even then, I don't like her as Blake Monroe. I liked her as Mariah May. All the stuff I've seen her do as Blake Monroe's been kind of weird. And then, girl that she was feuding with. What the hell is her name? Used to be in TNA.
Is it still the buff lady?
Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. I just can't remember what her damn name is now.
Oh, dude, this is embarrassing. Like, she's really good.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I know her freaking name. Grace.
Jordan Grace. Thank you.
Jordan Grace. Thank you. Jesus Christ.
Those are the only 2 people I care about in NXT. And
I'm ready for Jordan Grace to be on SmackDown to give that brand a boost in fucking singles, ladies, because it's been the Jade Cargill Nia Jax show for far fucking too long.
Yeah, they need something. They need a draft and to completely shake things up and actually try to make things even, not just overstack one show.
Well, they had to because it's on Netflix, and that's where their latest cash flow is.
Well, their latest cash flow is in another country. But yeah, so like I said, next Tuesday for Dynamite. So Raw will be on Monday, Dynamite's on Tuesday. Yeah. This Saturday we'll have our SmackDown and Dynamite show again.
Yes.
I don't have really anything else to talk about at the moment.
No, it's pretty cut and dry. We'll see where the booking heading into the pay-per-view goes.
Yep. We got 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks.
Yes.
All right, guys. We will talk to you next time. Deuces.
Later.